Hello. Turn that down a little bit. There we go. You know what? Maybe a little bit more. There we go. All right, let's do this thing. Got my my tumbler back up and operating. I recently found out that I'm actually okay with an Arnold Palmer drink. Now let's work on some stuff. Let me pick another song, skip ahead. Alright, what am I working on? I'm working on a crafting system that I think I nailed down. I need to be able to make these workbenches. Let's sketch something up. This has to be simple. Let's take out a log. I'm thinking we'll take out a couple logs here. Acacia, larch. And let's take out the magic chalk. I could have it to where you have to put like a rune on top too. Oh, I'm sorry, Cat. Is me speaking too much for you? I could, you know what? That could confuse people having a rune on top. I'm thinking something super, super simple. Super simple. And there are different kinds of logs too. Let's pop this up. Yeah, this is the place, so I will only have this happen with placed logs. I don't think I want the pattern to be that much more complex. You know what? Just for shits and giggles, I could do that. I could force you to put it all the way around. And then you could cast transmutation, maybe. Pull out a wand. Alright, so you cast this spell like that, and then it would transform. Alright, we're gonna do that. So what is the name of this? Print screen. So, oh, you know what? I think I can make do with this. I can already see people being like, why can't I use whatever the wood is, right? I can already foresee people saying something like that. Alright, World Magic. You know what? We gotta rebrand this. It's not called World Magic anymore. I'm calling it Rituals. Ritual Magic. So I need to make a new pattern array. We're gonna put it with the miscellaneous arrays. Run World Magic pattern for type, check type, check for block type creation array. So I'm going to rename this a little bit. I'm going to say for Thaumic Workbench. So run World Magic pattern check for Thaumic Workbench. That sounds pretty good. I'm gonna need only runes. I'm not gonna have any mana torches. This is the first thing that you create with this mod. So we're gonna need correct runes. So we got mana torch points. Man, look at all this stuff here. I think it's 8 runes, right? 8 around here, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So I don't need the mana torch part. And I don't really need any of this either, so I could do 1, 1. Maybe 0 this out as well. Make this a -1, 1. -1, -1. +1, +1. And then I have to flip them here. Like that. I think that would hit, right? Because that side, up, down, and then over, down, down. I think that would do it. I can get rid of this and get rid of this. Right, so I think that's going to be our pattern checker for this. It's a very basic array. So I'm going to copy that. Let's go into the transmutation spell. Where the hell is it? Okay, entity. There we go. Projectile. I was going to say, I don't see it. Alright, so under world magic, I'm going to put this under miscellaneous. I'm going to create a bunch of space because I'm going to start reorganizing. I'm going to migrate the things that make sense to migrate. So I'm going to say if Bear Bronson, I see you. You subscribed on YouTube. Just as a heads up, I do not see YouTube chat when I stream. YouTube is more my repository, where all the past videos go. That's why I dual stream to it. Twitch chat is actually where I can actually read chat and interact with people. Just throwing that out there. Because I see some people who are like, man, he never sees what I say. I'm like, well, I can't see more than one thing. It's a Streamlabs thing. So I need to do a check for the block in question. So I'm going to copy this. Now this is where I need to be very specific. I don't want you transmuting trees, like world gen trees. You need to be able to place the block, which is why we are going to use this. So I will say log dash placed dash. I don't care about the wood type, and I honestly don't care about the orientation, so I'm gonna kind of wildcard it. And I'm gonna say this dot world magic dot, and then we are gonna, oh, you know what? I didn't make a trigger for it. I just made the pattern checker. So now we need to make the actual array. What's going to get me there the closest? I think it may actually be this one. Wait, is it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is this one. Papa Briny Bear, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I think it's going to be this one. I'm going to copy this one. All right, we're going to paste it in. So this is going to be the heart and soul of this. So trigger world magic, nexus to new type. Nope. This is going to be Thaumic workbench. Just came from YouTube. I had a feeling. How you doing? Hope your day is going well. My day, I started my work day pretty early. So I got out early. I'm streaming earlier than I normally do. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna work on the mod anyways. Might as well stream it. Oh man, this is good. Whoops. Just hit my microphone with this cup is enormous, this tumbler. And I got it like custom too. It's all Mario themed. It's got my name on it. This thing is awesome. I've never had a Stanley tumbler. I feel like an adult. All my friends have, and they put like coffee and stuff. They're like, oh my god, it's so good. Keeps everything so warm or cold. Was wondering about modding and vintage storing, and you appeared on my YouTube. Yeah. I'm actually, yeah. I made a couple of mods. I made Minecraft mods in the past. Although I am kind of getting interested again, now that Neo Forged has a little... That Lex dude was kind of a dickhead. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, he was... I remember trolling those Forge forums. That guy was a douche. So, like, hopefully they do well with Neo Forged. Because I you know, Minecraft, it's nice. It's nice. I have a couple mods that I would like to update there. But yeah, Vintage Story is like my primary right now. I was surprised you streamed, instantly recognized you from your ViesCraft mods. Yeah, I've been streaming. The way I see it is, I can get some good ideas and help people out, kind of, you know, if they're interested in streaming, or not streaming, but making mods. You know, because you see how it is. I hate the stuff where it's like I'm watching the video and they're typing out like paragraphs and essays, and I mean, you feel like, right? Like it's way overhead. How are they doing this? They already figured out the code. They're just looking super smart. Like no one types an essay start to finish of like complex code, right? So I figure if I live stream me going through code, maybe it could help someone. And I get ideas too, right? Before I code something dumb in. So what we're working on right now is the magic mod that I have for Vintage Story. We are creating world magic patterns here. I'm doing a full rewrite of my mod. So the idea is something like this would become that after casting transmutation on it. So you'll cast your spell, you'll tap it, and then at that point it would have eaten all of these and would have converted this log into your Thaumic workbench. So that's what we're working on right now. I created the whole world magic system, so we are going to make the trigger method for that. You gotta treat noobs like toddlers respectfully, right? Yeah, you should just be like, learn Java, right? That was like the go-to, you know? Why don't you come back when you learn Java? It's like, no, I don't know Forge. You guys change it like every update. I should be able to register an entity. You know what I mean? Bombcraft and VS, it plays more like Ars Magica, a little witchery, little blood magic. But it plays similar to that. Thaumcraft, like, it is kind of branching a little more. I think the new update will be a little more like Thaumcraft. In the fact that Thaumcraft is more like block, right? Like more machine-based. So I am going to have a lot more things, right? Like, I call them magic stations. Yeah, Thaumcraft was fucking sick. Yeah, it was. It was one of the staple mods, right? Thaumcraft, I like Botania as well. Ars Magica. Ars Magica was my favorite mod. Every Minecraft mod pack that I made, that mod was in there. Like, Ars Magica were just so good. So I have a lot of that stuff that I'm putting in now. So I have, you know, of course I had to learn shaders and all that stuff for Magic, but right now, this should probably look familiar to you to some degree. So, right, I'm adopting that essence system. So you're going to have your main obelisk that generates neutral essence. You'll have your celestial prism, which will be your light essence generator. And then your devouring void, which is going to be your darkness essence generator. Which, of course, does eat creatures. This generates in the daylight, so it's definitely a labor of love. Yeah, you're hitting the nail right on the head with Ars Magica Witchery. The idea is, so I have a magic system in right now, so it's not going to be like Ars Magica when it comes to the spell creation. I didn't want to rip all of it off. So in this game here, you have grimoires, which are going to be like the physical spells. And basically you will research by looking through like the rust to gain knowledge, and then basically like the spells become like physical, you know, items that you could pass on to other people. They have their own like MP costs and whatnot. And you could socket spells, you could duplicate spells, like that whole basic spell system is going to be with this guy here, the neutral essence. And then you'll have the light essence here, which is going to be more like lunar magic. It's going to be kind of like, what is it, the astral sorcery mod. So it's going to deal with like phases of the moon and stuff. And then you're going to have this part here, which is going to branch into other magic. It's going to be more like blood magic, sacrifice, the witchery, you know, rituals and stuff. So you're going to have different branches of magic as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun to make. But I do have the primary spell system kind of done. It's pretty cool too, because like I wanted to make use of like bookcases. So basically you'll have a sanctum, which of course it's kind of work in progress now. I don't think I can pull everything out because I'm disabling the old stuff and I'm migrating to new stuff. But it's basically like a bookshelf, and then you put these books on the bookshelf, and then you can socket them, right? So you can have that spell in your staff, and then you can pick your spell, and then cast it on the fly. It's a pretty slick system. I like it quite a bit. But yeah. So let's do this world magic here. So I want to convert this into our Thaumic workbench. So this is going to be what it is. Trigger Thaumic, Trigger World Magic. Maybe I should have another name in here. So Trigger World Magic, Create Thaumic Workbench. I kind of like that more. So I'm going to copy that. I will paste it into here as a little placeholder. I will cut this out because I won't need it. Alright, so all of this I don't need to do. Everything that has to do with block positioning, I don't need any of this. So we're going to delete all of that. You know what? I won't delete it all. I will delete most of it. I'll delete all of this, because that's when I'm already doing my pattern checker. You know, that's when I'm checking. So I can delete all of this. There we go. Trim that fat. Yeah, that's sick. We'll be looking forward to it. VS is lacking a good magic mod. I do have the old version. This is the 2.0 version of the magic mod. I do have a working version. It has a lot of configs. I looked at it, and I'm like, you know, it is a fun magic mod, but I can do better. It kind of stretched with a lot of the themes, but that's what we're doing. I'm doing like a complete rewrite, right? Bottom of the systems. How hard would it be to modify change the models of drifters to replace them? No need to go in depth. You just need to get the VS model creator. You have to be pretty good at doing animations too. I don't know, maybe moderately if you're replacing drifters. If you're creating a new entity though, a new type of drifter, and you're leaving the old ones, that's easier because you're not going to have to patch the game. You can just create something new. So I don't think it would be that hard. I have a creatures mod because I have my Minecraft mods. I love Lycanites mobs. It was another one of my staple mods, so I started to add more creatures similar to Lycanites. But That mod, I'm only one person. I can't make multiple mods, right? Multiple huge mods at the same time. So the magic mod has my attention. But I don't think it would be too bad. Alright, so we are going to put this if we're going to run this war pattern checker. I need to put in world and position. So for world, I'm just going to pipe in world in. I'm also going to put in position in. So that should do our check for us, which means I can get rid of these. I also can get rid of the Nexus type. I don't think I need the Nexus type. Legend is fantastic. Are you talking about the vintage story mod? I keep seeing reflection over on the side here. One of my neighbors is mowing. And I think as I start passing, like, I'm seeing the reflection. I'm like, it makes me... I feel like I have to mow now. Having neighbors, it's a drag. Alright, so we're going to walk through. We're going to attempt to block consumption. So I'm going to eat all of the magic runes. Thank God I made all of these mini methods. So we're going to walk through that. I will give you magic experience. I will have the transmutation particle effects. We're going to have that crash of lightning. This needs to change. So it's not going to be Nexus Tier 1. This is going to be the Thaumic Workbench. So copy. I'm actually going to just put this over here so I can reference it. There we go. So Thaumic Workbench dash. Ooh, you know what? We are going to have to put in the wood type. I'm going to have to preserve what the wood type is. That's fine. So it's going to be dash normal dash. At this point, instead of Nexus type, let's put in wood type. We're going to create that variable. Dash north, because that's going to be the default. Or, you know what? I can get the player position, and I could have it opposite facing. That way, it always, when you spawn it in, it will always be facing you. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? So I will also add player POS. We're gonna have to create a variable for that as well. And both of these, I will actually... You know what? I could have all the code live in here for that stuff. Normally I have it here. I don't think I need to do that though. Yeah, see, I'm just getting the code parts, although I am doing the block check here. You know what? I'll keep it all the same. I'll just do it here. So this is going to be last code part. Let's do first code part. I think that's gonna make it easier. And then it's going to be position 0, 1, so this would be position 2. And then this would be position 3. I will say instead of type variant, I'll say type wood. And I'm doing this somewhere else. I remember getting the player position information. I don't remember where I'm doing it. It's in one of these. It's in one of these. Somewhere. No, these are the destruction rituals. Let me think. What am I... Yeah, Lichen and VS. Do you make a Lichen Minecraft one? No, I don't. I did not make that mod. We got a lot of good people in the community here. I was wondering, since if I start with VS modding, I'd want to turn drifters into more whimsical, magical creatures. like these mossy golems, mushroom guys. You can do that. You probably will be better off making a new creature from scratch instead of just patching. It will require you to, like, you know, learn the entity system a little bit. The awesome part about this game is, unlike in Minecraft where, like, every update, even sometimes every micro update, it's like you gotta relearn Forge all over again, right? Like, oh great, all my registered entities aren't there. I've been modding for this game since, what, 1.13, 1.12, something like that. We're on 1.19 now. Very little changes between updates. It's wonderful. It's so good, so good. Worst case scenario, because you'll be learning two different things. So if you want to just patch the drifter, you can. It's going to be strictly through JSON patching. So I have patches that I do here. Like, for instance, I'm patching the class. So you would do a patch through JSON, right? So you would have to find what line. Like, this would be obviously the drifters. I could show you. It would actually be this, because I already patched the drifters. So I add to their client behavior. You would just put your path to the shape of it. Shape, and then you'd probably have to do something with your texture, right? Do the remapping for the texture. Unless you embed it in your shape, right? But basically, this would be how you would do a patch. And this does patch the drifters. I have elemental weaknesses, so this patches my elemental weakness onto the drifter. So that's pretty much how you would do it. I guess it would be easier to change it. A lot of people like drifters, though. That's why I said making a new creature would be probably a little better. So make a new creature and remove drifters with mod? Yeah, because you could set the spawn rates too. Again, you could do it through patching. You could patch the drifters spawn rate right out if you want. Damn, that's cool, yeah. Yeah, there are two types of mods. There's JSON mods, to where you don't have to really know, you know, how to program in C#. And then there are the compiled mods, which is what I do, right? So I have a mixture of, like, the JSON stuff, and I use, you know, actual code, right? So if you're going to do something more complex, you're going to have to do a compiled mod. Unless you're just really, really good at JSON. I'm not. It is not one of my strengths. But it is not a weakness either. Okay, you know what? I think I remember where this code is. I think it's in here, not currently being used. So, oh, I think I got the side. This is it. This is the code right here. Because what I do is I get the fired by the player, and then I get that converted as a sided position, and then I set it as a block position, and then I do the facing from, right? So I get a snapshot of your character's facing. Heck yeah. I'm going to copy this, we'll paste this in. We need to add two variables to this method here. So this is going to be... I'm going to need a string. They're both going to be strings. One's going to be wood type in. Is that what I called it? I'll do type wood in. And then I'm going to do another string, and that's going to be type side in. I like this song. So we're gonna put inside here. All right, now we're gonna have to put in these two variables here. So type wood and type side. There we go. There we go. Let's see if this will work. let me just double check here. Oh, my range does not have to be that far of a check, so I'm going to reduce it by 1. The area in which we're checking. Nexus point, this will be a center point instead. I think position in, I don't need that other variable up top because I'm not going to have to modify it at all. I think that's going to do it. So because we created a method, we actually created 2 while the game was running, we are going to shut down the game. I will gracefully shut it down, and we'll see what kind of havoc this code will run. We're going to rebuild. Some things you could do on the fly if you set up your environment right. Anytime you create a variable or a method outside of a method, it does require you to restart. Just a little heads up there. Little FYI. Delicious. Man, that is good. All right, let's see. Boom! The side was wrong. The side was wrong. All right, damn it. We gotta. So. Oh, wait a minute. Was the side right? Is my model wrong? My model, it may need to be shifted. Oh, sugar. Wait a minute. It may not. Hold on. Hold on. Nope. My model's fine. Yep. My model is perfectly fine. All right. So I need to change. It came up as a valid block, though, so... Thank God for little things. All right, I got way too many windows open. Holy moly. All right, so this fired by sighted position as block position, facing from block position, returns a direction move from the other block position to get this block position. I think I need to put in... That should have worked. Wait, did I do it at an angle? Hold on, let's pull out the magic chalk. Hold on. So this should give me an acacia workbench. It gave me an acacia one, but it did not give me what I wanted. Nothing's really local. The name is too long, so I can't see the whole thing. Ooh, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I will try to... I'm gonna try something here. Can I do a rotate? Get horizontal. Face when rotated by. Applies a third rotation to the face and returns the face that's closest to the rotated. So I would want to potentially rotate this thing 90 degrees. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. It needs to be 0, I think 90 and 0. Oh, unless it uses that stupid float value, in which case it could be like 0.5 F. Let's try that. Boop. See, and that's something I could do on the fly, because I'm modifying something that's inside of a method. All I have to do is save, fireball it in, and now it will run that code. So let's use Larch. We run out of chalk. Did not do it. Now the test, right? So it's pointing in one direction. What if I do it from here? Is it going to be the same? Is it taking a static? Or what? It's a static set position. Okay, that does help. Maybe this is not what I want. Facing from. Let me still get the player's position. Returns the direction moved from the block. You know what? What if I do just sided position and then dot as block position? Let me get rid of the extra face rotation that I tried to do. And let's also put a logger in here. RMR references dot logger. And I'm going to make it nice and annoying so it pops out, plus type side. Not type wood, I want type side. So let's see what the print statement tells me. Boop. Destroy. All right. It says east. Which, okay, if that's east. So I have it backwards now. Because it's always facing away. So are you planning on a part 2 of your modding VS video on YouTube? Possibly. When I made the video, no one really seemed to be into it. And making videos, I'm not that good at it, so it takes me a while. Unless that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, it just may take people a while. Instead, what I've been doing is I've been people reaching out to me through Discord. I don't write code for people, but I will help them kind of get started. That first guide was pretty important. Like the whole first half of it, there's a slightly different way of doing it. The wiki has some really good stuff to get started with modding. It's a lot better than it was. But the tools that I use, like .NET Spy and stuff, that's the stuff that you're not told. It's beautiful. Actually, I have .NET Spy up right now. Right here. I was looking up class registries, so you could pretty much look right at the base game code for like all the stuff you want to do. It's incredible. Most people are lurkers. Never bother looking at feedback. Yeah. But it was like a time thing. Like, do I want to, make videos on YouTube? Like, I would like to go back when I'm in a position to do that, to kind of expand. I had a whole series set. Here, I could open up another instance of this. We were going to make... which one is it? Hold on. It's one of these. I believe... Oh, Vice Blocks. It was right up top. Alright. I'll show you fast here. So I'm gonna have to shut this down. And we will run it through here. Vice Blocks, another one of my mods. So we were gonna make a brazier through the modding tutorial series, because it pretty much hits most of the major things. I was going to go over how to make an item, how to link a class file to an item, a block, class file to the block, a class file for a block entity, right, to link that together. The block's going to have an inventory, it was going to have a GUI, it was going to have a fuel burning system. This is what it was going to be. So a simple brazier, you could feed it firewood directly, or you could right-click to open it. It has all the properties of fire. Has cool particle effects. Like, it had, like, it showed you a lot of aspects of modding. If we got some firewood, we could fire it up. Yeah. See, like, you could do that, or you could sneak and then right-click. See, like, it changes the model and everything. Let's get a torch, lit torch. Right, so, like, I could right-click, right, and it put all the slots in there. And then you could set it on fire. Like, when it rains, it goes out. It generates heat. But this is basically all it does. And I made it to where the smoke particles, I wanted something that looked like this and just kind of casually smokes up every once in a while. And if you build a chimney that's like hollow up top, these particles last long enough to where you could actually have some kind of smoke coming out your chimney up top. So it was going to be like a multi-block series, like tackling each part of this, right? Like the way this looks, you know, like this actually does slowly tick down. Firewood lasts a while. But, you know, it goes over, like, all that stuff, how to do all the stuff. Again, there just wasn't a call for it, and I decided to make a magic mod instead. This thing is awesome, though. It's definitely awesome. Alright, let's go back to the magic mod. Now that I started up that world and blew out all of my block entities... Just nuke them all. It's a good thing it was only the test stuff. That's what these test worlds are for. That's fine. Transmutation works all the same. All of my workbenches stopped being workbenches, though, until I break them and place them back down. It's always nice to have a 3-part series showing all the basics to send people to before you ask for a 10-minute modding course every day. Yeah, I mean, the good news is there is a lot of, like, it's not as hard to get into modding. It's not like Minecraft Forge, where it feels like you have a mountain that you're trying to scale. So that was our brazier, right? So we're back to the classics. There we go, reconverted my runes. This is not a block entity anymore, so I can just break it. These are not block entities anymore. They don't have a GUI. They have no status. No shaders, no nothing. So we're just gonna break those. Whoop, whoop. Me and my clumsy self. There we go. Okay, we need to reverse this. We need to reverse it. So, facing from, I think I could do something with like a dot opposite. Yeah, get opposite. So I will get the opposite position. Oh, it's obsolete. Use opposite property instead. Don't tell me what to do. Fine. There we go. There's your property. Don't tell me it's obsolete. It still works. It's like my car. I would never say it's obsolete, but it is almost a classic. Like the music's slowly getting louder. I don't know if it's screwing with me or what. Alright, let's give it a try. Come on, baby! Boom! It faced me! Alright. That's looking good. What about from this angle? Let's use a different kind of wood. Let's pull out, let's look at logs. I don't know, let's use a maple and birch. Why not? So maple. You'll draw out your runes. Where's my... There it is. My basic staff. Are you gonna face me? Yeah! Looking pretty good. Let's do birch. Is that birch? That's larch. And I'll do one more. You know, we'll do ebony. Ebony's a pretty unique wood. Manway, hey! Manaway. Oh, there you are. I am here. I am absolutely here. Yep, and these are all... They are valid blocks. Sweet. we're just working on the magic mod. I got out of work a little early because I went in pretty early, so I figured I was going to work on this anyways. Why not live stream it? Oh, purple heart would probably look pretty good. I'll put it right there. Let's see. It's surrounded. Looking sick, yeah. There's the purple heart one. Yeah, that does look pretty good. I like it. I like it. So what I want to also add is I want to put a quill, you know, like an ink and quill here. I think I want to put some magic stones on it too, you know, and then put things on the shelves here. But that's that comes later, right? First, we have to make sure systems work. Not too shabby. I think we got it. So this is going to be the entry into magic. I got tired of having the Oculus be the crafting workbench because there's a lot of build-up to making the Oculus. So the Oculus, it's not only getting a name change, it's going to be used to only make spells. Maybe different colors, different colored cloths for different types of wood. I was thinking about that. I could do that. I have to be careful because I don't want to make like 45 versions of this block because everyone wants a different color. You know what I mean? Like and then if I open that up, then people are going to be like, oh well, I want a purple cloth on this one. You know what I mean? Like, it's a crafting table. It's basically all this thing is. And then I have to make, you know, for like all the colors, like if there are 15 colors, I have to make 15 versions of this image as well, right? Colored a little differently. So I was hoping that magic purple would satisfy people. I was hoping, but I guess not, right? I mean, I guess purple heart. What if I just made it black and white? A black and white cloth. Maybe I'll make it like poop brown or something, like a gross tan. Although that would probably... Yeah, this is the color I was thinking about. Hey, Lieutenant. How's it going? I could... I mean, do people really care? Like, do you want to be able to put cloth down and, like, change your cloth? Because I do that with another... I'm just going to load up another one of my mods. Because I've done systems like this. Let's open this up here. Let me add my dumpster mod. Where is it? Where is Vice Blocks? Man, this music is getting me pumped. Just kidding. This music's alright. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. There we go, Vice Blocks. Because, I mean, I have to be careful. A big complaint with the Magic mod was people found systems too complex. Everything's too complex. So I gotta be careful with it. That is good. It's a good drink. I like the purple. I like the purple too. The purple feels magic-y to me. Alright, so I have storage beds in this mod. So with my storage bed, let's use a non-metal one. I want the classic wood, right? Because we're looking at wood benches. Let's use... I don't know, good old maple. Maple's good. Right, so you have this, and then you don't have sheets. And then you can get cloth, like the base game cloth, like if I want red. I didn't want to sleep. So like I can open it up, and then I can put cloth on. It doesn't do it. Oh, great. So it's broken. So ideally, it would change the sheets of your bed. Apparently not, though. Oh, see, that's the doll slot. So yeah, see, it's more complex and it could break like this broke. So... Oh, that's great. What if, I wonder if it does it with all the other cloths. Oh, you know what I could do? Purple cloth, which... Oh my god. Yeah, the cloths aren't refreshing right now. But yeah, it had it to where like it would render, like it would look like the purple cloth. Would it be possible to make it manually colorable? Not real. Well, it is, but how much work do I want to put? Do I want to put in weeks for something that's equivalent to a crafting bench? Or would you rather have me put weeks into making like a mass teleport spell? Or, you know, what about the big gateways that I want to do, right? Like everything, it's a cost in time. You know what I mean? And this is like the first thing you unlock. Like, I thought it would be cool to give you different wood colors depending on the log you used. But then it's like, well, if I give you 15 colors, then the, you know, 15 different kinds of wood times 15, already there's a lot of blocks, right? So my mod's you're gonna feel the mod when you're loading into it, right? Like, as it's loading all of these variants of blocks. And then what if people want to start changing the color of like the gemstones and stuff, right? Like, where does it end? Because there's always that person's like, I like red gemstones and you have no red gemstones. Can I put red gemstones on my workbench? It's a visual thing. Why do you want it? I want it because I want it. You know what I mean? Like, I do get things like that. Like, well, if you really want to make people happy. So, right? I get stuff like that, and I'm like, well, I don't want to make you happy. I'm currently running 95 mods. Yeah, you probably feel the oof when you're loading the game. I'm gonna try the... Oh, I'm missing some chat here. The survival game, not a daycare. Right? Make it complex but engaging. Low tension spans are too common. I haven't gotten, well, people making, like, it's, some things are not going to be less complex. Like, you know, the rituals and everything, you're going to have to draw out pretty big patterns, you know. It's magic, right? I can't handhold all the time. But, haven't gotten to try out the magic mod fully yet, but I'm really looking forward to trying it out. Yeah, the current version's not bad. This remake, I'm just gutting it all. I know what I want it to play like now. This was a big thing. Grimoires are a great system, but the way I was making them, like, you feel like you're almost tier 2 by the time you actually start to get like the cool spells and feel like a mage. Having something like this right in the beginning, I can start tying things, like all the little things you have to make in the beginning now are possible through the magic workbench, right? The Thaumic workbench. And in the back end, I have it to where this technically could link up to the Nexus as well. So you could use the Leyline Resonator to link these, and then these could use Essence. So that means I could eventually expand this into something else, right? Based on that. Man, the leveling is brutal. +1 mana per level. Yeah, that's it. But the leveling doesn't have to be brutal. Look at the configs. I put config options into where you could lower the experience multiplier as much as you want to find, you know, what works for you. I got tired of, like, going into a server, and then, like, people were done within, like, the first couple of weeks, and they're like, yeah, we got steel, we got everything. This was meant to be slower, to give you more of a reason to keep playing on a multiplayer server. Wait, there's configs? This mod has the most configs of any mod, and I will challenge people to find a mod that pumps out a config that's bigger than my magic mod. I challenge you. Can't do it. Challenge you. And if you find someone, I will make more configs to be the winner. But yeah, I'll pull it up right now. So we'll go into this configs. So these are all the configs that I have. So let me sort by size. Look at that. Rustbound Magic 63 KB. My other mod, ViesCraft, is second, and then Can Jewelry is third. This config is ridiculous. You can do your experience multiplier right there. You're leveling too slow, change that number. Your upgrades, right? The mana points in which you upgrade, right? Your GUI settings. You can move your magic bar around if it's conflicting with another mod. Consumption chance when you're doing world magic, right? Like all this stuff here. You know, how much you get from like doing batches of stuff. Like all this stuff. Enabling spells and disabling spells, right? Like all this stuff. Like costs for essence costs. Like, I'm just saying. I listened. A lot of people don't like the slow EXP. Change it. Go in here and change that number. Make it lower. Make it 1.1. Make it 1.0. You'll get experience. Your experience goes quite a distance. It's incredible. Wait. You can make the first part of the Oculus. They fit the idea. Oh wait, what were you talking about? You can make it the first part of the Oculus. Make what the first part? Still quite new to mention story. Haven't gotten past Copper Stage yet. Honestly, I always go slow. Like it, you know. I like to explore. I like to, you know, kill things with my flint spears. Dude, I love all my current mods to be consolidated into one big overhaul mod. The craft. Oh, so make the crafting table part of synthesis. Well, or the Oculus. That's going to be a little different. The way I'm envisioning this, you know, because you're going to have the 3 different types of essence, and I do like that kind of system. Let me put down some visuals here. You know, I'm going to go all out with the visuals. We'll use we'll pop this down. Let me get rid of that. I don't know, maybe some mud brick. Why not? So you'll have this. Let me draw some runes around it. Right, so you'll be upgrading it. And we will go all out. Put the caps on. Right, so something like this is what a Nexus is going to look like when you have it upgraded and have it really booking out. Then it's going to be a similar thing here, right? So that's going to be basically in the air when you create it. Similar thing, right? It's going to have its pillars. Oh, shoot. Did it wrong. Hold on. You can share pillars. Little trick of the trade there. I saw the crystal there. I gotta sketch these things back out anyways. This is a new world, because the old one was starting to get cluttered. There we go. Right, so you're going to have 3 different types of essence that you generate in 3 different kinds of ways. They're all going to be upgradable, pretty much the same. So this is going to be your neutral essence, right? And then that's going to lead to like spell creation and synthesis and duplicating spells and the familiar system, right? And then this one's going to be your lunar magic. And the thought was that you would take your table, because they technically can link to each one of these, and then you would link it, like you would link the dark portal to the Thaumic workbench, right? And then you could start using evil essence. It would change the appearance, like maybe because this is more about sacrifices, health, blood magic-y, you know, rituals and stuff. Maybe it transforms your crafting table to make like dark things, right? Like dark effigies and things like that. This would convert it to like more of a light kind of style, right? So I don't want to make them part of the Oculus. I want them to have their own little path. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Blood magic, yeah. In a way, it siphons, like the way it currently works is it kills monsters that get too close. Actually, anything that's not a player, it will pull it in and start sucking its life out, and that's how it generates dark essence. From there, you could think it's more like witchery. The rituals is what I have in mind for it. So yeah, they're just going to be different branches of magic. Lunar magic, and having 3 different kinds of magic branches means that I can play around with maybe making additional magic classes as well. So yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Manaway. It's that it is adding other branches of magic. Like the full mod, everything that's right now, it's going to be unlocked through the Nexus. And let's face it, there's really no difference in the current mod from the essence types, because you can use all of them interchangeably pretty much, right? Oh, and the coolest part about this is the way you're going to learn things, right? So I have meditation. I don't think I talked about this too much. I already created the system for it. There's in the new mod, there's not going to be magic tiers. You're just going to have your maximum mana. But you can look at things and you can learn different things based on meditating and looking at things. So by meditating and looking at the obelisk, I learned how to make the leyline resonator, the Nexus pedestal, and the Nexus core, which is the old Oculus stuff. So, and not only that, I can have it to where you could learn spell parts too. So when you meditate and look at a Devouring Void for the first time, you will learn the spell Rust Volley. When you do that, the same thing with the Celestial Prism, you will learn the Summon Light spell. And then those are going to be similar to Transmutation, but, you know, they're going to have their uses, you know, for those branches of magic. That's the thought. So I can have a whole new approach. You don't have to eat scrolls and mass produce eating scrolls anymore. Now I can unlock different parts of the mod, kind of like that ViesCraft kind of feel, right? When you had the big, you know, the big thing and you're scanning everything and you're learning stuff. I wanted to incorporate that. I think that is awesome. I'm really excited to dig into that. Yeah, the thermometer. Yeah. I was that close to making it in this mod. The thing that made me not want to make it is the fact that GUIs are a pain in the balls for me. I hate making GUIs. Hate it. Hate it. And then the thought of like making, and then the other part of me is like, man, I don't want to rip off ViesCraft. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to look and be like, it's a thermometer. Vice, you're not original. But that also means that I can allow you to gain additional mana points. Like 500 mana is no longer the cap in this mod. I can allow you to just keep going, and I can allow you to look at something like an enchanted runestone. This is a pretty powerful block. Maybe by sitting and meditating and looking at the block, maybe I can unlock a mana point. You know, like your max mana increases by 1. Doing things like, right? I can link this into so many different things to make it to where it offsets the raw grind of the experience. Right? Right? All the mana you will ever need. Right here, Vice. Don't look any further. So, I think this works. So, I spent... This system took me a couple of days to figure out. So, I think it's weird that non-magic users could open up their Here, let me grab some things here. Grab some things. Boop. GM. Oh, you know what? Let's grab one more thing. One more thing. Possibly. What am I trying to grab here? Okay, I'll grab some of that. Having a brain fart. There we go. That's what I want. /GM1. I thought it was weird that people could... Oh my god, I'm gonna die of hunger. Nope. Nope. Where's the vintage meat? Wait, where's my admin block? Let me just put down an admin block. I am so glad I made this thing. There we go. I could stand in it and it replenishes everything. Temporal stability, food, everything. GM1. There we go. So I thought it was weird how you could, you know, like, put in a bunch of stuff, like a non-magic user could make a Nexus. Or they could make, you know, Mana Stone or whatever it is. You can't do that anymore now with this new system. So all the magic items are tied specifically to this. And the way I have my unlocking system is that... Oh, I don't have that migrated. I do have this migrated, though. Maybe. Oh, wait, Enchanted Stone. Here we go. There we go. Right, so you can make your Enchanted Stone there, right? So as you unlock recipes by doing things, you will be able to build more and more here, and then non-magic users won't be able to make things like Enchanted Stone. So that's what this is fixing here. Really like the idea of a light mage, arcane mage, or dark mage as like classes, maybe armor sets. That's exactly the idea. This is going to be like your general, just like arcane kind of mage, and then you'll have your light. And the light, I should explain a little further. The light stuff is going to be world magic heavy, to where you're going to create a certain multi-block structure, which is going to be used, like, I want you to use phases of the moon and do like astral kind of research and stuff. You'll be able to call down meteors for like resources and stuff at night. You will be able to... Also, this is how you're going to make mana potions and whatnot too. Moondrip is going to be the name of the ability that you're gonna be able to condense the energies down into your mana potions, mana vials. It's going to be a pretty neat system. And then this one's going to be kind of like how my ritual altar is, using sacrifices to do wide area magic. This one I want to have soul magic in there, so I was thinking about creating soul stones and then having it to where you could like capture entities and summon entities and stuff. I kind of want like necromancy to be part of this as well. I think it would be cool to be able to build a servant. I want to have an undead minion. I want a skeletal minion following me around. So that's the idea anyways. GM2. Let's make it daytime. You know, I'm not really feeling this music here. Let's skip that. We'll start at the beginning. I'm a sucker for necromancy, right? Me too. You should have seen the first version of my magic, my armor. I had like the skulls on the shoulder pads, like the antlers and everything. It looked like a necromancer's robe, and I'm like, it's cool, but it's not the theme I was going for. Like my whole, like, I want summon skeleton. I want that kind of stuff. If you notice, Corpse Explosion was kind of like my testing the waters to see if other people wanted necromancy too. Mana Stone, this is the way. Nice. Dude, pull a few ideas from all those Zangzia web novels. What do you mean? If you got ideas, throw them at me. Give access to all types of magic affinity, but the more types you learn, you gain. Yeah, I need to make a fun thing, because I do have 8 elements that I need to tie in. And so far, this has 3 elements, this has 3, and this has 2 that are linked to it. I want complex systems. I actually want you to be able to attune to a system. This is the idea. During a temporal storm, you will build a multi-block structure that can activate based on the gems and crystals that you have. And then during a temporal storm, if you set it up right, it will create a portal. And then as you walk through it, you will become like a destroyer, right? For like a class, right? Or, you know, something like that, where you gain specialty, like you gain attunement to a couple elements. Which you will, you know, I have elementals that are coming in as well, so I will have creatures coming in. There's a lot. It's Chinese cultivation stories. Oh, I didn't know that was yeah, the cultivation stuff. I watch those sometimes. Like some of them are good, but others it's always weird when you're reading stuff like that. Because like I like the story behind things, you know, like the ones that are like crafting related and stuff, you know what I mean? And then some of them's like, I want a harem, and it's like, man, you need to get laid. Get laid and then come back and write this story, you know what I mean? Like... It's crazy, it's crazy. Oh, what if you could like control drifters or something? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You know, this opens up a lot of fun avenues that the old version of the mod, I don't think really had room to do well. Hey, RC. Well, at some point, maybe you should make opposing magical systems. Well, that's kind of what I'm going for. Like, these two are not going to be happy together. Like, yeah, like, basically the way I worked it out is, if you're light, you have 2 elements that are in contradiction to the darkness. And then the darkness, you have 2 that are in contradiction to the light. And then for neutral, because they have 2, you have 1 that's going to be effective against one and 1 against the other. You know what I mean? So I have a nice weaving of that. A lot of this stuff is just trying to plan out how these systems are going to work, right? A solid foundation. So you're not doing a mod rewrite like Genius Me is right now. Yeah, harem stories are just powerful fantasy that never happens. Yeah. Yeah, they need to just leave that out. There's some good stories, but they just need to leave that stuff out. You know what I mean? That's why I say they just need to get laid, right? Maybe find a significant other. I don't know. Prioritize. It's so cringy. It's so cringy seeing that stuff. All right. So let's start migrating more patterns over. So not enchanted stone, so any kind of stone, right? So I can make enchanted stone in here. Let's make sure that my stuff is working. You should not be able to make enchanted stone in here. Nope, you cannot. Good. Good. Where that planning is like half the thing it really is. It is so much that I will show you the glimpse of some of the writing I've done for this. Because I don't when I live stream, I want to do something. I don't want to just sit there in a text document or an Excel sheet. I don't think that's fun. If people want to come and chat, that's one thing, but I don't want to force that on people either, right? So let me just pull this up for you here. Where is it? Desktop. Where's my Word doc? What do I call it? There it is. This is part of the guide. This is a 12-page guide that links out some of the stuff, how things are going to work. You're going to get your radiant gems, your shadow gems, different phases of the mod. You know, what stabs are going to be working like. You know what I mean? Like unlocking magic. What unlocks at each tier. You know, like basic elemental systems here. You know, like this is the planning, and this has helped immensely. because I can just look at this and be like, yep, this is exactly what I want people to see in each step. I want you to feel like you're growing, you're progressing, you can start making new things, you know what I mean? Like, you got all this stuff. I still like to see the Necro Gear. I gotta pull it out. Now that I created a system to where you can have multiple... I increased the transmogrification system from staffs to armor, so I can change the shape of armor now. So I just need to get a bunch of like shapes and textures, right? Like I need armor to put in for the system. It takes time, right? But I gotta nail this. This is the foundation. I gotta nail it. How about cultivating with special crafted items that lose durability while meditating? And this durability loss essentially becomes your EXP. I've thought of that. That is a possibility. I haven't thought of it like that. So far, like I said, it's just the whole, like, as you meditate and look at something, it unlocks. I thought that was a cool aspect. It's not going to be on everything, but there are going to be certain milestones where every mage should probably meditate on something. How would that work? Because I have to be careful that you don't... I don't want you to circumvent things, right? And then get, like, stacks and stacks of, like, EXP, you know what I mean? Like, in item form, and then you meditate on this stuff, and you're lowering the durability of, like, enchanted stone, right? Or whatever it is. And then you're not playing the mod, and you're not casting spells. You're just like, here's a stack of 64 EXP effigies, you know? Consume all these and you'll have 100 mana. You know what I mean? Now, it would be a good idea that this could be cool. Finding unidentified scrolls, and then, like, you know, meditating on an unidentified scroll to attempt to turn it into, you know, a one-time use scroll, like a magic scroll. You know, there are a lot of things that I can start unlocking with the new meditation system that I built in. Yeah, look at all these spells, and I still have spells to complete. I got a lot of stuff to do. Definitely a lot to do. Rust Orb. Yeah, alright, let me clear my... Oh, I didn't want to get rid of those. Let me start migrating... Let's start migrating recipes into just this workbench. I've done tons of magic systems for live updates. Since you already meditate with a staff, maybe you can meditate with an element in a ritual to attune to it. Well, I want to incorporate temporal storms. I hate that people disable them because I think they're really cool. It reminds me of the Lycanite mobs, right? Like, it's like, oh, you know, arachnophobia, and all the spiders spawn all around you. Like, you got excited when something like that happened. And temporal storms were kind of satisfying that itch for me. But a lot of people turn that off. So I want magic, because ideally, like, the premise of this, the lore behind this mod is the Rust world and everything, the portals, that's like a primitive kind of magic. Like, it's almost like a void. And you literally peer into the void to gain... Yeah, that's why you lower your temporal stability to unlock magic. So I want to keep a theme like that. So something like a temporal storm, it's gotta do some cool magic things. But it's gotta be enough to where, like, attuning to another class. You know what I mean? If you meet certain criteria and build this big summoning altar, maybe that's how you summon bosses, is during a temporal storm, you know? Or you get something from it. Maybe Maybe a temporal storm could fill mana potions, or yeah, I don't know, something. I gotta add something cool. Gotta add something cool. Now you need to make a tons of... As it is now, you need to make a ton of scrolls. Kind of like it. I already have a ton of scrolls. That's what all these are. These are synthesis recipes, but in my spells, I already got all these spell scrolls. One-time use. So, because I put in the spell duplication system. So, yeah. And they work. Boom! I actually changed it too to where you it doesn't consume, if you're in creative mode, it doesn't consume the scroll anymore. So, boop. Alright, let's start. I'm gonna focus up a little bit here. I agree Temporal Storm should be something big for like large rituals or something. Yeah, right? It's a waste opportunity. I love Temporal Storms. I get all my flint spears, and I just run around and spear things. It's awesome. They may have their rocks, but I have guts. All right, enchanted stone, item types. So let's look at my document. All right, let's look at my document. So non-magic users, they'll get rusty dust, shifting fibers, and the elemental fragments, right? Because anyone can interact with rifts to create the unstable stuff. So that's still going to be in. So you'll be able to make Mage Weave as a regular person, and then you'll have the parchment creation through the new barrel recipe. So everyone should be able to do that. Let me make sure. Let's get a bunch of shifting fibers. Shifting fibers are not pink anymore. They look more like the plant now. Hooray. That was a long time coming. Yep. And I can still make Mage Weave through regular crafting, so everyone will be able to make that. So hoping to see tentacles come out of rifts. I want to make elemental themed rifts. I want to make a fire rift, a water rift, you know, all these kind of things. I want to make them, and I want to make my version of Taint. You know, like the Thaumcraft kind of Taint. I want them to come out of portals as well, and have my version of it, which would have a tentacle void monster that, like, I have all these ideas, and I'm going to put them in. Going to. It's done. It's done. Actually, I have most of the code written, so I just haven't implemented it in the mod yet. I want to freak people out. It'd be cool to protect yourself with a spell during a storm while doing a big ritual. Yeah, right? Like, I want like fun experiences. I support your endeavor. Wait, can't you just use the vanilla paper mechanic? You could. I just wanted another use for my stuff. So the idea is you get your rift blooms, right? So you grow a bunch of these things. I want, because I have the utility blocks that non-magic users can use, you know, something like this, right? This can be powered with transmutation or rusty dust, so a regular non-magic user could still have a rusty dust farm. And they would get shifting fibers. They would also get rusty dust to power the stuff that they would buy from a mage, right? Because they can't make it. But that leaves the fact that they have a bunch of fibers, you know, that they're going to start to build up. And fibers are not particularly useful to non-magic users, even to magic users. Like, they're mildly useful. You can make carpet out of it, or you can turn it to like pulp and you can make paper, which you could then sell to magic users, because that's how you're going to get enchanted parchment. Hey, Botanic Mag, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Oh, I gotta go on Fiverr. I'm going to get some, I have a lot of emote slots that I found out that I need to fill, and I got some animated ones. I am getting a dumper emote. It's happening. Anyway, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that too. Thank you very much. Oh, I feel the love. You have limited time to earn exclusive emotes. Ooh, really? That's awesome. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. So yeah, I need to find more ways to make shifting fibers useful, so people aren't just stockpiling them. I think I'm going to have like a block as well. So I have the carpet. I may make like a block out of it, like kind of like a cloth block. I'm not really sure what else you could use shifting fibers for, like the regular person. You know what I mean? The non-magic user. Like pair the vanilla paper with your magic fibers inside a nexus for a minor nexus drain. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because, like, I do want to use the vanilla parchment more. I was relying too heavily on, like, oh, this is the runic parchment. There's no reason for that. I can make enchanted parchment. It doesn't have to be runic parchment. You know, and I can just have that with, like, you know, using some kind of magic, right? Dissolving the shifting fibers from mana pots that need charging. Yeah, I mean, but that's not really helping... I want to increase the value, but I wanted to increase the value for non-magic users. Magic users, you do have a lot. Like, this is how you use shifting fibers and rusty dust to make temporal fragments, which is like, that's your foundation item, right? Like, you need temporal fragments. Everyone knows temporal fragments are needed. Essence drain. I have a crafting bench. Do it slowly over time. Little like an oven. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, right? I just need to... I need to bury that thing. There we go. I need to figure out the ideas, right? How should things feel? So far, really good foundation, right? Finding and cultivating rift blooms. I gotta find out what mods are screwing with my rift blooms, though. There's some mod that's like locking it to where it doesn't despawn. I don't like that, but I don't know which mod's doing it, but I don't have the time to figure it out. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Okay, for now, let's take a look at the recipes. So the grid recipes, you are not going to be able to make enchanted stone. That was part of my test. I'm going to shut down the game. We're going to save and quit. So a non-magic user should be able to... You should be able to make the Mage Weave. You should be able to make a beginner's guidebook to magic, which I will be redoing again. I like the idea of having everything in a book that you could, like, read anywhere and not necessarily the handbook, so we'll see. We'll see. The handbook will still have a lot of information, but I do want to pump up the guidebook a little bit. All of these are disabled, so I don't have to worry about those. Vanilla, oh, I made it to where you could use shifting fibers and a stick to get flax twine. I may remove that. I don't know if that's, like, a little overpowered now. I don't know. Nah, I'll keep it for now. Oh, and all the repair stuff. Shoot. How am I going to repair things? That's going to be a whole new system, I think. Yeah, armor and everything's going to be changing too. Yeah, and just a handbook guide to make the manual. See, the thing is, like, there's a lot of limitations. I need to look at the handbook again. Having links to different systems and stuff, and, like, one-click links to, like, crafting recipes and everything is really nice that the guidebook cannot do. Unfortunately, the handbook, you can't have pictures. Right, so that's the rub. That's the trade-off. So I gotta figure it out. I think everything is good in here. So magical grid recipes. So we have the obelisk, which should take enchanted stones and temporal fragments. So this unlocks with the required trait. I'm actually going to paste that up top. Oh, this does not unlock with a required trait. Let's paste that up top too. And the resonator. Required trait. Alright, let's build this. I think this is good so far. Let's take, so I should be able to create enchanted, I need enchanted stone, and then I'll need temporal fragments, and then I can create the obelisk normal north. Is that really what I called it? Yeah, so it's gonna be the obelisk normal, because I have an admin version I'll make. And then the orientation will be north. Cool. Alright, let's go back in the game. Build. Start. But Lynx is cheating. Gotta look up like a proper book. Yeah, tell that to like 90% of the people that message me. And it's like, I understand too, like if I make complex systems, I shouldn't make the information on how to use those systems obscure. I understand. Like, I know how my systems work because I'm programming them, right? They're doing exactly what they're saying. So I am listening. I am listening. But there are some things that are just going to be hard because I want a challenging magic mod. All right, let's pull up temporal fragments. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. So the obelisk is now craftable through the Thalmic workbench. Let's make sure that it's not craftable through here. Boop, 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 and boop. Yep, cannot craft it here. Link to only the workbench. Yes. When I was starting out, I was using the handbook for most of the stuff and the guidebook for the images. Yeah, that's the thing, right? You can read a majority of what you need through the handbook. Hey, Celsior, thank you for the follow. Yeah, you can read all the information through the handbook, and then the guidebook is more like the offset, right? How do you put the rooms down? Like, you know, the pictures. Giving me Thaumcraft vibes. It probably will give you more Thaumcraft vibes as I rewrite the mod, because I do want to add more Thaumcrafty stuff. Within reason. We're not going to have a thermometer. That's what we're not going to have. Hey, Severed Skulls, how's it going? Story of my life right there was. Bugger off, you 90%. Right? Can you intercept all of them and just tell them that Vice is working very, very, very hard, and that he likes to go outside and see the sun every once in a while? If you could just tell them that, that'd be great. Absolutely hate the inventory crafting grid. I want a damn workbench instead. What are you talking about? You don't like this? You know how much work this took me to make? This took me 2 days of, like, you know, I mean, I had maybe a good couple hours each day to look at it. I mean, if you give me altars, wands, staves, rituals, research, works for me, you'll still get all those. See, the thing is, I need a way to give people... I need to... Oh, I just ran through something, didn't I? Game mode 2. I need to give people the ability to create the little building block items that doesn't take you going through 3 systems like it currently does to be able to synthesize basic items. That's what I need. That's what this is. This fixes a majority of the mod's problems with progression. Enchanted Stone, you make it through here. Your Nexus, you will make it through here. Your, you know, like when you start unlocking things, like how I meditated and it got my insight here, right? I can make all of my magic-themed stuff here. Not all of it, but most of those building block items will be here. And then you'll start to get into doing your rituals, right? It's that progression. To be able to make one of these, you will still use world magic. You cannot make this, you cannot make this. You need to convert it from this, right? Synthesis, you will be making spells, and synthesis is going to get more complex because you are going to be able to, I'm toying with the idea of creating a system where you don't have a grimoire with one effect, where you can stack multiple spells into one thing. So if you want to, you could have a projectile for Weld Burst, you could have it buff you with run speed, and you can have it, I don't know, blink you forward however far blink will blink you forward, all in one spell. Potentially. So you could start making your own spell. That's what I want for something like Synthesis. I just meant the crafting grid in the inventory, not the amazing crafting bench you just made. Okay. I was like, I worked hard on this. Because I don't want you to just make everything through your personal crafting grid. I thought it was kind of dumb because, like, you could be a non-magic user and you could make, like, an Oculus if you want and, like, pair it together. You could start generating essence being a non-magic user. It was kind of lame. It was kind of lame. But with this, right, only magic users will be able to use this, and bam, this is how you get all your entry-level stuff. This is how you're going to make your first wand. Well, not necessarily. I think I came up with a fun way to be able to make a wand. I think I want you to make it out of a stick. A nice stick. You can't point X, Y bad about the game. They're just seen as persona non grata because you are hating on the game. Wait, what am I missing? It's not even that. It's feedback about my mod, but I don't see how I can improve the mod if no one ever tells me. Yeah, that's the thing, right? And that's a big reason why I live stream this stuff. Trust me, if I was not live streaming, the workbench would be done. I would have all the recipes migrated over at this point. World Magic would have been updated to where you could actually convert it to each one of these. I would have had those systems. Like, I would have had a lot done. But it's really important to get this feedback, right? Am I going in the right direction? Does it sound like it's fun? Does it look okay? Right? You know what I mean? Like, that feedback is super important because it's easier to change it now while I'm building as opposed to spending all this time creating a system that everyone thinks is garbage. Right? So a spell system, maybe something like Ars Magica or like PSI. I don't know PSI. I've heard of that mod. I don't know it, so maybe. It's not going to be like Thom or Ars Magica in the sense of you take like projectile and then you put light on it and then you give it bounce, and it's not going to be like that. Grimoires, I want static effects, like static spells. It's just I'm finally going to be adding the Grimoire enhancement system, so they're not going to be so RNG heavy. You are not going to be bound by a spell tier anymore, so if you want and you know the spell fly, you make the spell fly. The thing is, like, if you don't have enough mana to cast it, that is your bottleneck. So that's what I'm trying to create, right? But it all starts with the foundation. This simply because the community doesn't know how to bring constructive criticism to both the game or any mods. and a majority of the crybabies don't know where to provide feedback because they don't bother to look at it. So they just spew crap on the servers with X or Y mods. Yeah. I kind of feel similar to that too. Like, there are definitely people that give good constructive criticism. There are other people that are like, "Why's your mod suck?" You know what I mean? Like, here's some feedback. Everything's horrible about early game, and it's a slog, and I'm slogging through it, ignoring the fact that I told them they can change, you know, like their EXP rate to make it faster. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's you gotta pick those things out. You just gotta compartmentalize them and put them over there. But I think you're doing a great job so far with what little I've seen here and there. Well, thank you. I think the version of the mod right now, it is fun, but it was that thing where it's like, you know what? It's a good crossroads. I did a lot of bug fixes. I can do better. You know what I mean? Yeah, your mod sucks. Okay, how can I make it better? I don't know, man. It needs more spells. It's like, oh, wow, okay. So 204 spells are not enough for you. It needs more spells. I see. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's sad, but that's kind of the stuff you get, right? Be like, you know, duly noted. If you hear me say duly noted, it means that I'm just kind of tuning you out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, the flying machine mod's going to be getting an overhaul with the new update. I am totally going to be using that new mounting system, and I'm going to fix it for multiplayer. When I first made that mod, I didn't really play on multiplayer servers, so, you know, if it worked, great. If not, I wasn't using it for that. I'm going to be building it from the ground up, probably on stream. So it's gonna be good. That's going to be fun. Ooh, this mod doesn't have the exact spell I want. I got people where they're like, oh, how can I put my own spells in the game? I don't know programming, and I'm like, how do you pass a fart through an onion? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know, man. I wish my issues were that simple. In my case, it's people not... Oh my god, and I can't tell you how many times people are like, when's it gonna be X skills compatible? And I'm like, don't fucking ask me that. Like, what do you want X skills compatible, right? Like, you already gain experience and that's how you level up your maximum mana. Like, what? What could I do? What could I do? Do you want my blood too? You know? I'm sick of hearing X skills compatibility. I'm tired of hearing it. And every time I turn around, it's out of date anyways. You know what I mean? And I love the mod. I love the mod. X Skills is one of my favorite mods. Like, I'm all about, like, Valheim. That's what got me into playing Valheim, was like, I chop wood and I get better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna deforest this area. Yeah, I remember you talking about that Severed Skulls, about the ATM. Yeah. Do I need to register to make sales? Right? I don't use X Skills. I don't use it as much as I would like to. Mainly because, like I said, I understand we all have RL stuff. But if a mod's like that out of date, sometimes, like in the past, it's a mod, like if it's up to date, I'll jump on it. But it also conflicts with my mod a little bit too, my magic mod, because you gain immunity to temporal stability loss pretty much. So not much I can do there, you know. Kind of breaks my mod a little bit. Not sure people want X skills when the combat is ass in general. Yeah, the combat could use some love. And man, let me tell you, Hightail, I hope that game comes out. I really do. Hightail's gonna be it's looking good. I was watching like the combat stuff before they had their radio silence, and like the slashes and stuff. I was like, please let me mod for this game. I will rewrite all of my mods, right? But I mean, at this point, it is vaporware, so I have curbed my enthusiasm for it. I want to see Hightail. Oh man, this drink is so good. It's called it's the Arnold Palmer, right? Half like lemonade, half iced tea. Oh damn, it's good. All right, let me keep going here. So I got the workbench. I need to start cooling things into here. I guess the first question is, should I just give you a bunch of craftable items at first? Or should you have to unlock things, right? Like meditation, looking at, like, you know, the obelisk, for instance. And that's how you unlock your synthesis, right? Your Oculus. Right? Do I have something, do I have things in there like that? Would that be considered fun? Or should you just be able to, you know, unga bunga crafting table, I already know what I need to make and I have the items to do it, so I don't need to learn anything. I guess that's, I need to answer that, because that's going to dictate a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be doing. Let's make it daytime. Oop. Ah, there we go. Freaking portal. Oh, hey, wait! I can get rid of that. Hold on. Let's go under spells. I think I call it cleansing light. Here we go. Be gone. Boom. I totally forgot I made the spell where you can close. You can close portals. But guys, there's not enough spell. Yeah, Hightail, I'll believe when it comes out. Yeah, me too. I'm hoping. I like being an optimist. Books, unlocks, basic books should be craftable. So what do you mean by books then? Because it's important to not add items that you use once and then it just rots, right? I don't like using that kind of stuff. So having a book that would unlock, you know, like synthesis, that's not worth the extra items that I'm registering. But I thought it was cool because you need this, but you need an obelisk to generate essence to be able to, like, link up to an Oculus. You know what I mean? So it made sense to be able to meditate and then look at this to do your unlock. Just joined. Are you a modder? Hey, yes, I am. We are creating a magic mod right now. We are going over ideas. We're going over ideas. I like your Sanctum idea. Thank you. I like the Sanctum overall. The new Sanctum model is coming along pretty well. I think I disabled the Sanctum. Yeah, I did disable it in this version. The new model's pretty cool. I added an extra spell slot, so there's going to be 6 spell slots altogether in the Sanctum. Any more, and I'm going to have to make, like, a secondary shelf. No, he's a firefighter. Hey, I could be. I'm a professional nerd. Multiple books that unlock different things that you can tier up to unlock more things. You mean... So you mean like, I'll pull out the Manual of Magical Arts, right? So this is a book, so you're talking about a book like this? Like, oh, are you talking about, like, reading the book and unlocking something by opening it? Kind of like Skyrim? The other side of this argument, though, is what am I unlocking? Am I unlocking crafting recipes? Am I unlocking spells? Am I unlocking, like, are you gaining mana points? Like, what are you earning through books? That's not going to become a tedious system, too. Right? Like, you shouldn't have, like, you know, 10 books that you have to read in sequence to unlock a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? Because something like that could be a little annoying, too. Like, oh, I want to make Mana Stone. Or, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, you can't make Mana Stone in your workbench yet. because you didn't read this book. So you got to go out and craft this book and then use the item to gain your recipe that you then need to make another item for and make that recipe. You know what I mean? Like, chained recipes isn't what I would have in mind. And the new way you're going to learn spells is, I like this idea. All right, hear me out here. You have your block. It's going to be called an Oculus. Names are going to be changing around here. Basically, the essence that you channel into the Oculus block will dictate the types of spells that you could discover. So you would basically sit down in front of an active Oculus. It's going to be a multi-block structure, and you're going to look at it while you're meditating. And then what will happen is, while you're looking at it and meditating, you will start to lower your temporal stability. Like, it will lower it to that 20% mark that you need. And as you lower your temporal stability, it's going to look a little different. I want like an Eye of Sauron effect in the middle, or maybe a mini rift opens up in the middle as your temporal stability lowers, right? So you look into the void. It's not me telling you and emoting it to you. It's that you will see into the void, right? And then at that point, you could start trying to unlock spells for whatever type of essence you are pumping through that Oculus. I think that would be awesome. Awesome. How about like a tiny black hole? Well, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have some kind of shader effect. Probably not like this. I made this kind of like a black hole. If you look at it closely too, you'll notice that the light, like the white, shifts around. Because I wanted that whole feeling of, like, you know, no return, you know what I mean? Like, it's affecting everything on side, and then the pulsing in there as well. And then getting, like, bright in random places. And then you also have an event horizon in the middle as well. So I wanted, like, a dual kind of thing. That shader took me a little bit. I put some love into that. Oh, so you got a manual already? You could use that to have a tech tree. See, that's the thing. I don't want to create systems for the sake of emulating other systems, right? Because, like, sure, I could create a tech tree, you know what I mean? And then it's like you can have, like, points that you put in, you know what I mean? Think like Ars Magica, right? They have the 3 color spheres that you would use and eat. And then you would open up I think it was called the Oculus, right? You would open up your table, and you would be able to put the red points into here to unlock this version of the spell, and then this one over here. The problem is, if you were a little bit of a grinder, within a couple hours, you would have all the spells you want, and that system was not used anymore. You know what I mean? So I don't want to have a system where you're, like, putting talent points into something. You know, like, I could do better than that, and I could do better because also it's going to be about balance, right? I'm going to forever be on the treadmill of, dark magic is easier to get, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's the current version it is right now, you know, like, light, you can have a whole farm of celestial, of the light nexus, and then you can have a couple of well-placed dark nexus. You don't even need this nexus anymore because everything takes any nexus essence, right, to make all your stuff. So I made one thing that is completely useless throughout most of the mod, something that you can use and abuse like crazy, right? And 2 things, depending on, you know what I mean? Talent points and EXP is overrated. Sorry, Vice, had to step away. Yeah, Event Horizon. I'm kind of catching up here. Wait a minute, I missed something here. Let me scroll up here. I think there would be many one-time use items. I think maybe you should have the link to different systems with crafted materials. To make sure nothing becomes obsolete, much like crafting trees, perhaps. Yeah, and that's like for instance, to make this, when you break ores, you will have a chance of finding either sunstones or shadow gems, like whatever I call them, which will be another resource that you will use for each one of these, like a foundational resource. But they will also have uses in the regular obelisk as well. Like, I want to make sure items get reused. I don't want to make a lot of one-time use things. It's a dance, right? Like, I need a good foundation, and then I need to expand from that. You know what I mean? And I don't want to trivialize a bunch of things, because everyone's like, oh, just get a farm of light nexus, you know, put the best caps on them, and then you'll never run out of essence. That kind of defeats the purpose of the other ones, or this one, right? Basically, you put this underground in its current form, and it just rakes in the essence. Like, this is the best essence generator. It needs a bit of a balance, right? It makes the other stuff obsolete. Sorry, Vice had to step away. Kiddo has a 102 fever on his birthday. Oh, no! Oh, poor little guy. Little girl. Poor little baby. Honestly, these types of mods, I like the sense of discovery if you can. I'd like to say it's somewhat pseudo-random crafting system unique to each player. Ooh. That sucks about your little one. Last week, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? When I had my streaming break, when I thought I was getting strep, the little guy broke out, and like his fevers were spiking like 103, almost 104. It was brutal. It was so brutal. I feel you, man. I hope the little one recovers soon. I don't know what you mean though by, like, I like the idea. I want a sense of discovery. I thought the meditation and looking at things while meditating and like unlocking things, I thought that was cool personally. Maybe not. I don't know. Like, I thought it was a pretty neat thing. Yeah, I agree. Crafting trees would be okay to avoid stuff going obsolete. Yeah. Yeah. So you're avoiding power creep? I'm trying to. Like, I want you to be powerful, but I want you to work for it, and I want things to not go, you know, not be like, oh, well, I don't need this anymore, and it's just like a dead item. So I'm trying to do that. You know, like the Rusty Dust can power, you know, like the mana stream generator, right? So like I could do this, right? So a non-magic person can activate their elevator without casting transmutation. You know, so Rusty Dust is always going to have a place as like a fuel source for this stuff. You know, be able to make parchment kind of saves shifting fibers, right? So I don't want to make items that are useless. Or at least they need to have some kind of decent use for parts, you know, certain parts of the mod. Making a magic system balance, yeah, it's a hard thing to balance because everyone's got a different opinion on what balance is. Some people, you know, they're like, oh, well, I want magic right away. And it's like, well, you know, if I give you a big nuking spell in the beginning, there's nowhere to go. You know what I mean? Like, if you could one-shot a polar bear, you know what I mean, early on, then who cares how much overkill it is? You're gonna one-shot throughout. You know what I mean? It's a dance, and everyone's got a different opinion. And then some things, it's like the heal spell. Like, I got a lot of feedback where it's like, the heal spell doesn't heal you that much. It's almost useless. You need to make it give more health. And it's like, you realize that I also have the spell called Life Tap. And if the heal is too strong, then you can gain infinite mana by just life tapping until you're almost dead, casting heal once or twice to get full health, and then life tap again to fill your mana bar from 0 to 100 in like 3 cycles. And they're like, oh, I forgot about life tap. I'm like, yes, you did. You know what I mean? Until that, you were, you know, condemning me on my choice. Like, how did you not think of this? You know what I mean? I like the idea of meditation and hallucinations. Yeah, that's kind of the whole point of the mana system. I want you to sacrifice your temporal stability, your sanity, to gain magical power, right? Like that's you unlock mana by looking through the void. You stick your head in a rift, right? Your temporal stability is as low as it can go. You're like in the rust world. And then you gain that perception of what mana is. And I do want to keep to that theme of the game as well. So to elaborate, what I mean is instead of having a set crafting recipe, implement a system that needs some sort of randomized property for each player. Say you wanted a spell. To make said spell, you might need 2 sets of catalysts. Catalyst A for player 1 might be different than... You know what, Severed Skulls? That is what I was talking with Oates about. Oates and I were talking about a potential alchemy mod. And he had brought up the idea of having, like, each player, you know, likes a certain thing. You know, like for their reagents, right? So every recipe would be different. So if I have, like, marigolds, right? Maybe marigolds to me would unlock healing properties, and I can make healing potions out of it. Maybe to someone else that I'm playing with, they would not, you know, marigolds to them, maybe they can make a poison out of it, right? So I would value marigolds differently than other people, and I'm using that as just a general term, right? I had thought about something like that to, like, randomize the stats. The problem is, and I brought this up, what about Death Cap? You know what I mean? If I'm using things in the game already, how can I make a healing potion out of something that quite literally kills you and is in every sense of the word poison? You know what I mean? And then I can make a nice, you know, healing sandwich out of that bad boy. Yeah. Let me scrape all the venom out. Like, sometimes it is a neat idea. I don't know. Because then you think of it this way, I'm going to be creating a lot of catalyst items. I would have to have a set pool of items. I guess I would have to have a set pool anyways. I don't know. It is a neat concept. I just don't know if that would make it too annoying. Because, like, I can't have crafting recipes then. Like, the handbook recipes are useless at that point. Right? So, like, if I, you know, whatever, like magic chalk, right? So if that isn't, oh yeah, I gotta fix that. Let me look at something easy, right? Shoot, I may not have any links to things. Here we go. This, yeah, I gotta consider. What can I look at to illustrate my point? Oh, Mage Weave, right? So something like this can't be done, right? Because it would be a different catalyst to each person. I think something like that would work well in, like, an alchemy mod. I'm not so sure. And yeah, bringing up a good point. Like, maybe it could play into like what elements you are, maybe. But then it's not randomizing with each player. It would be like fire likes this, and this is how you make fire stuff. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But if I were to implement something like that, it would have to be like now. That's a foundational thing, right? Just a pool of items that qualify for a set recipe. It could be any of those items, which is randomized for each player. So the potion system that Mojang abandoned, I guess. Is that really it? Did they abandon it? To play into your affinities? Yeah, but See, I mean, if it plays into my affinities, I would have to have you pick your magic affinity, you know, your elemental affinity really early. You know, like, it's kind of... And I don't want you to I don't want you to be forced into a particular element either. You know what I mean? I don't want you to be a fire mage because you have to be a fire mage. I want you to be like, I have the option to be a fire mage. My fire magic does this, I gain pros and cons. You know what I mean? Actually, I was going to change the attunement. I think it's in the guide here. Let me... I think it's called... Okay, so I didn't migrate it in here. Basically, like, you would have, like, a Stormcaller subclass that would be, it's basically multiple elements in one. Right, so Stormcaller would be, like, wind and lightning, or, you know what I mean? Or something like that. Or water and lightning, or, you know what I mean? Like, whatever the elements are. So, I have implemented the system, like, 5+ times in my journey to make my own game. Every time I propose it to people, they're always like, hey, that's awesome. Yeah, I think there's a game that does that. I think Oates was telling me about a game that does that, like a medieval game. And he's like, it's great because, you know, different things. And I like that idea. I don't know how it would work in this, right? Because I just spent all that time making a system that... I mean, how would I make that fun in a game like this without having like 20 plus building block catalyst items to make things? Nah, they can all be the same item. Use the attributes on the item to differentiate between one another. I guess I could slap attributes on the items. So, I'm still trying to understand the concept. So, like, something like this, right, makes an item. To me. But to someone else, it could be that. That and that makes whatever the same item is. And we could both make the same item, but we have a different recipe to do it based on who we are. I could see this working if I make more classes too. What if I make a Rust Mage, a Cleric, and a Necromancer? You know what I mean? Like, just names, right? And maybe depending on the class you pick, the class you are, you could see reagents differently? Maybe? I'm still trying to piece it together with what I have, right? How would that work? Because I do have 8 magic, 8 elements too. So I don't know. So my system is for alchemy, but just throwing ideas out there, maybe a consumable item that you burn and a random effect occurs. Like, one item might be summoning a rift for 1 player. For 2, it might be restoring mana. For 3, see, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. So not necessarily like the crafting recipes themselves. That's what I was getting hung up on. But the use of the item. I like that. I like that, Severed Skulls. I gotta find a way. You know what? That's making it in the guide. I'm gonna make a section up top. I'm gonna call it, you know what? Actually, it's not gonna be in this guide. I will open it up in my other guide. There we go. So I have a want section down here. So I will say, I'll make a divider here. I'll say new idea. This is where the magic happens, baby. Create a system where the use of items can vary depending on the player. For example, I could say item 1, or I'll say player. I'll do this up. Player 1 uses item 1, which equals mana potion. Just for an idea, right? And then we can say for player 2, summons a rift. Right? For player 3, uses item 1, maybe that God, I don't know. I mean, what kind of things could I really populate in there? You called cleric? That sounds like a lot of fun, yeah. Somewhat simple, meh. Classes are just gatekeeping. Better just make it hard to get in the first place. Yeah. Sorry, I was never actually talking about the crafting grid. Yeah, that's what my hang-up was. I'm like, I guess I could do that? But how do I do JSON recipes for, like, catalysts, you know? Like, yeah, totally, yeah, I could create items, put a property on them, right? Like an item property. Heck, I can make it a string, an int, like whatever it is. And then have, like, on use, have it do certain things. I would just need a list of ideas, pretty much, right? Like, maybe mana potion isn't the best way, because I want to make a whole mana potion system. That's going to be a heavy lunar magic thing. Summoning a rift, I do have other things that you would summon. Just put in, like, question marks. See, it comes, so it's like similar to people saying, oh, each element, like, damaging element that you cast should do an effect. And I hear this a lot, and they're like, you know, like, fire should burn someone. It's like, okay, well, remember, I need to make everything even, so what does lightning do? It's like, I'll give you that one too, because I thought of this. Lightning could do, like, knockback. What does water do? Does it heal? No, probably don't want to do that, because then it's no longer an attacking spell, when it should be. You know what I mean? Like, what about arcane? What would arcane do? You know what I mean? What would ice do? Right? I could give you that one. Maybe ice slows down movement speed, but players move differently than NPCs. NPCs use an AI pathing system with, like, a set speed. Players have, you know, the whole controller motion system that uses, you know, a combination of, like, the global constant variant for speed, plus, like, whatever block you're standing on, you know what I mean? Plus, and it morphs all this stuff together into a stat. You know what I mean? So you can't really, you know, they can't really say, like, oh, it slows things down, because it's an overly complex system, right? So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, right? Balance. How do you do the balance? Like, I like the idea. I would like my elements to have effects, lasting effects. But how do I do it to where they're at least somewhat comparable? You know what I mean? Like, fire burning, that's just more raw damage. Too little, everyone's gonna complain it's completely useless. Too much, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, it's OP. You know, everyone needs to use the fire spell. Don't use the other 7 elements that this guy created shaders and everything for. Just use fire, man. It does the most damage. You know what I mean? I want to be a water mage. Lee Mao, look at this guy casting water spells. Doesn't he know they do the least amount of damage? Yeah, so in the actual game, when trying to write for years, each plant is broken up into its components: leaves, stem, flower, sap. Each part, yeah, see, this sounds amazing for like an alchemy kind of mod. Freaking amazing. Yeah, effects if it's boiled or heated. Reagents having different effects based on something about the character. Could be class or random seed on the player. Yeah, and that's kind of what we're looking at, you know? The flower of plant A might be health, but on B it might be boiled stem. Yeah. Which is, it's a cool idea because it makes it to where balance is a little easier, right? Because if I can use the leaves and you can use the stems of a certain plant to do something, we just created a trade system, right? Like, it's not this throwaway item where we're literally throwing the surplus into a lava block to delete it forever. You know what I mean? I like it. I still think mana potions should be charged from a nexus or something. I gotta figure out the mana system. The idea was I'm gonna create some of the basics, right? This needs to have all the crafting recipes. You need to be able to make this, make the other thing, and then I want to be able to make the new Oculus block, right? And then get synthesis going. And then I want to see where we're at there, and then shape things from there, because I kind of like the idea, and I thought about this. If I do make 3 different types of magic classes, instead of just the one, maybe a cleric, or whatever I call it, that does light, maybe being around a celestial prism while it's charging, or I could cast transmutation on it or something, or right-click to use it, and then maybe it gives me a mana regen effect at the cost of some of the essence that it built up, right? Or maybe I make it to where this can regenerate health. Being close to this will regenerate, or this will regenerate health. This could regenerate mana. You know what I mean? And this, I don't know, can explode in a fire. I don't know. This gives you rust sickness. That's fair. If you wanted to do actual crafting, I assume you do it via interactions with block entity. Right-click the Nexus with a wand and catalyst. Yeah, this and this is also a basic thing. I want the idea of, there are potentially 3 more slots that I would add to this. One for a particular element fragment, right? To be able to use that as a resource. One for a I like the idea of having a quill and ink in there as well, and you would see it on your table. And then another one for paper, parchment. I like those ideas. I just need to find a good use, right? Like, I don't need to make an overly... I still remember looking at the Thaumcraft workbench and seeing all of the stuff all around and being like, what the fuck do I do? Like, what's all this other stuff? You give me a crafting grid, which I'm supposed to be familiar with, right? But then you change it, and you got all this stuff on the outside. I don't know what to do. Yeah, right-click on the Nexus with a wand and a catalyst in your offhand to apply it, which would then run your random... Yeah, I mean, and that's... Yeah, I gotta figure all this stuff out. I think... I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to nail this. Whatever this system looks like, right, for crafting, I want it to be fun, and I want it to be easy to use. Maybe not as much fun, because the fun's going to be creating the multi-block structures and making your spells and doing, like, I'm going to call them rituals again, but right, doing world magic, like building things up, dealing with these systems. You're not in here for long. You know what I mean? You're not. So how much work do I want to put in for this? You know what I mean? And then, like, I wanted that whole separate thing to put, like, elemental fragments in. But I can also just make a grid recipe, right? So if you want to make, you know, like, enchanted cobblestone, and you want to make a fire-imbued enchanted cobblestone to build with, I don't need to do anything more than just make another recipe saying, yep, put the cobblestone in there, the enchanted cobblestone, and a fire fragment, and then bam, right? There's the output. I don't need to make another, you know what I mean? Like, just making something more complex, you know? And that's the dance that I have with this mod right now. I want it to be a little easier in the beginning. I want it to feel more complex to do some of the hard crap. I want you, in the beginning, I want you to look at the elements and be like, oh, cool, fire. Maybe I could become a fire mage. Oh, cool, arcane. That's a pretty looking gem. Maybe I want to do that, right? Oh, I'm a druid at heart. Nature fragment. Yeah, right? So you could start using the stuff, but it doesn't matter yet because you haven't unlocked the system to where you could start attuning to an element or two, you know? But it's giving you like a taste of what could be. And then you make your first like spell, like your projectile spell, and you're like, I can imbue it with nature and it becomes a new spell. You know what I mean? Like that discovery. You take the lazy route, have all the different ones shoot projectiles that look different, but all do the same damage. Hey, hey. Yeah, it was kind of my lazy way of doing it. Perfectly balanced. It's just a different color number, that's all. Yeah, fire burns, water slows, and amplifies. Ice shock, damage. Ice causes random direction, movement slipping. See, the thing is, a lot of what you're saying, I think it's Ryle, right? A lot of that stuff is very complex to make. Because there's not an easy way to, like, change direction, for instance. Like, movement direction, slipping and stuff. Like, I can take that one of two ways. Either I make you turn in a different direction, and it's like a discombobulate. Or you literally slide like you're on ice. Those are two totally different systems for players and for creatures. Creatures don't slip. How do you transpose something like that to a creature without rewriting a whole system to do that? You know what I mean? Air suffocates. That's for a player, and depending on your world, you know what I mean? So I'm just doing suffocation damage to you. That's just like it might as well be extra damage, right? You know, without the flare. Like a stun, I have to temporarily either disable an AI task for a creature, which means I have to patch every creature, and hopefully they all use the same, like, attack AI task, you know what I mean? Or movement AI task. Or players, I have to disable your player controller, and then give you everything back when it's done, and hope I don't screw something up. Because then your player's just kind of screwed. So it's... Yeah, I know. But see, I've thought of a lot of this stuff too, but it's like... It's easy to think like... Oh, you know, like, we've all played those games, right? Like, wind should be knockback. But how do you do that? You know what I mean? You have to really know the system. You know what I mean? Other alternatives like Botania, Ars Magica, where you put all the items on pedestal. That actually is, I severed skulls. It's funny you bring that up. That's what I want this to feel like. I want you to make a multi-block structure altar. I want it to be like a 6-sided, like with pillars, right? Or, you know, like, try and draw it out fast. You know what I mean? Something similar, like it's going to probably be a little more spaced out and just doing it fast, right? You got your thing in the middle. Maybe these are all like altars, you know what I mean? And then you place certain blocks on each thing. You know what I mean? And then it does something magic-y, something cool. But like the middle, like maybe to conjure, summon creatures. How you... I'm trying to keep up here. Wait, you can use the mana system and affinity system the same as the same system, so mana system and affinity. Well, yeah, I mean, the affinity system, I just need to... I need to figure that out more. Like, right now, it's nothing but an idea. And I fear that I may have too many elements. Although I don't think so. I think I have a pretty good balanced system for elements. Like how you currently make light torches in a nexus by putting mana stones into it, just letting it cook. Pay attention. Wait a minute, I'm missing things here. I'm thinking. Yeah, and the whole like making mana torches, I'm moving away from that. I realized also that I did not like the fact that I gave you a really, really good light source that anyone could use or make, and you don't have to be a magic user. Because anyone can make a nexus, and then it just starts working because it doesn't care if a magic user or not. You know what I mean? It's like burning stuff. And then you get this one light source that trumps everything else, and you're like, okay, cool. And then I have you, and to add salt to the wound, you are using that light source as literal fuel. You are destroying a really good torch. So these are going to be more just generators that you would link to something to channel that essence into something else going forward. Mana torches will be a thing. They're not going away. They're just going to be pushed a little further into magic. Why does everything have to be an attack? Why not just utility? Like fire can, you know, light things on fire. Water can... First of all, lighting things on fire, I think people would have my balls in a vice. You know how many times I would burn down my house because I'm terrible with aiming if I did a fire? You know what I mean? Water can water crops and such. Earth can fertilize soil. See, the thing is, a lot of those spells, Severed Skulls, are already spells that are attuned to an element. Like I have the Hydrate Farmland spell, which does an AoE watering effect. I have Kindle, which will actually set fire to like your you know, like fire pits or whatever. And it also sets the temperature right away too, so you don't have to go through like the ramp up work. Fertilize is a literal spell, right? So they're not, my grimoires are not tuned to certain elements as it is. Yeah, I already have all of those spells here. We'll look at the spells here. So like I do have projectile spells, and the idea is I have elemental monsters coming in. So the idea is, like, if you are fighting a fire elemental spell, using Aqua Burst, a water-type spell, will do bonus damage with my elemental modifier system. Which is why every element has, like, an attack spell for it. Which should totally give a boost to your windmills. Another thing that I have coming in, I may have it here already, just disabled. Nope, I have it disabled. I have a magic rotor coming in where you could convert like mana into mechanical energy. It's like a mana battery. So that is one of the utility blocks that I'm going to be making as well. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, that's how Ars Botania work. You click on the thing in the middle, and boom, it crafts it. Yeah, affinity A plus B plus C equals total mana. Then just have it work for ignitable things like torches, peat brick. Yeah, and see, the other part of that too is compatibility with other people's mods. I will get, like, I know me making like birch workbenches and stuff, I know someone's gonna be like, well, Wildcraft has all these new trees, why can't I make, you know, a pumpernickel, you know, or whatever it is, thalmic workbench? Why can't I make things out of those logs? You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, because they're not in the base game and I don't have a library to them. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't want to spend a week figuring out mod compatibility so you can have a different looking wood for your thalmic workbench. That's why. Because I want to make cool spells. I still have, like, my teleporting stuff that I want to do, and I have the familiar system, you know what I mean? Like, I have all this stuff that I want to add. The color of a bench doesn't concern me. Depending on the use and exposure of different affinity mana. Affinity mana increase like this, A plus B plus C equals 5. This would be a 113 affinity, 114 would be the same, but with one more mana. See, given a different total you can use for so many things. I'm not sure what you're getting at, Manaway. Could be, so a disclaimer too. I stopped work early because I literally woke up at 2:30 this morning to get on the road by 3 to do a whole bunch. I actually did, I work in IT, and we are migrating to a new core fabric setup. So I was migrating SVIs for a lot of things, and of course arc tables were not refreshing as quickly as they should have, but it became my problem when we lost devices. So it has been a very full morning and day, so if I'm not understanding a concept, you got to give me just a little leeway here. I like what you're saying, though, about the more you use an element, the more affinity you gain with it. I really want a system like that. But there are a couple ways that I can do this, too. My initial thought, and I don't know if I have it in one of these. It may be in this. I have a third document as well with ideas. So it's not in this one. Is it possibly here? See, I write down a lot of stuff here. Yeah, this is what I'm migrating things off of to make the new document. Like mage armor, I want to change as well. I don't like this whole, like, you know, oh, you have a set of tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 armor. It was kind of lazy. So this is an idea. I can give you multiple, like, instead of having like attunement with certain elements, maybe your attunement, like a subclass, right? So you don't become a fire mage. Maybe I could be a destroyer, and that gives me 2 elements that I'm good at, which means there are going to be 2 elements that would do more damage to me. You know what I mean? So it's not so spread out. I could condense it for like an affinity kind of system. You know, like some things like the druid made sense to call it that, right? Earth and nature together. You know what I mean? But that also means that wind and arcane would be your opposites as a druid. So a stormcaller could use a wind attack, right? But you would be good against a stormcaller because they're opposing affinities, right? But then again, I won't have like 8 different things to balance. You know what I mean? Although, is it really too bad to be like, you're a fire mage and you attune to the fire element because you've been using it so much and you've gained so much fire experience that you now do more damage with fire attacks, and eventually you become, you know, like rain hurts you, like water water saps your mana. I don't know, whatever the pros and cons are. Do I force that on people? Trying to understand what the hell Dana has done. Apparently there are already ways in vanilla that you can use attributes to render them with specific texture model. Are you talking about something like... I think I'm doing something like that with my Leyline Resonator. So this... Right? This is an item. You right-click, and it changes it to this version. It's the same item, but I'm using a different... I could use a different shape if I want, but I'm using a different texture atlas. And then this right here is the viewer. That was the disconnect, right? And then we're back to connection. Right? So I don't know, maybe? Maybe. Seen the code, but I can't make heads or tails. I think I stumbled upon this. I think I looked at the bow for a lot of it. Your affinity is your mana. This example would only give you 5 mana points, but the code would be used for ID. So are you... I mean, that's an interesting concept, having your mana be your affinity? So what, you would have different manas pools? I don't know how that would work out. I don't like labels. Yeah. But sometimes labels are needed for the sake of the people wanting, for the people coding it, right? I'm doing this all by myself, right? It's just me. I don't have a team. But if you're able to figure that out, you could just have attributes dedicated to wood and such. That's what I've been trying to figure out for the past month. ELLs and not decompiling those correctly. Yes, I've been trying to figure that out for months. Look at the, like I said, I looked at the bow. I looked at the bow and the different states of the bow, the item, the class file that's attached to the bow item. Here, I gotta pee really bad. I will be back. And I can show you, Severed. I'll show you that. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Oh, man. I didn't realize how late it was. I don't have that much longer to stream. I literally want to swap out what texture would be great. Appreciate it. Yeah, hope it works for the same for... Oh, yeah, block and block entity. Oh, so you're talking about the whole texture swapping thing. I don't know if it's going to be the same. But thanks, Nanotech. I will hydrate. You trying to fill me back up, I see. I love this. I love this tumbler. This thing is great. Best purchase. One of the best. I've got like 40 different variant blocks for the stalls. Wool plus wood plus direction. Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. I don't know if this system's gonna help you. I think I was looking at this myself, Severed Skulls. I actually gutted that system, and that's kind of how I made my my mana lantern. You want to look at the lantern because the lantern does it. If you let's take a look at it right now. I'll show you here. I'll show you the item first. I don't think it's gonna help you, but it may. So if we look at the resonator. So where the magic really happens in the resonator is not on interact start. It's going to be, although I am setting, you know, the render variant is actually what it is. It's an int attribute. It's actually in step here. So basically, I'm setting the render variant. This is totally not what you need for blocks. Excuse me. But basically, I'm just setting that stat, that attribute, a temporary attribute, the primary attribute. And then what it does is, based on that, the game knows if I go into the JSON for it, which is here. Let's go under Tools. Resonator. So yeah. So basically, it sees like this is 0, and then this is 1, and then this is 2, right? So if I want to make another thing, right, I would get the next one down. I would use the next int in line, but this is not going to help you for blocks. What you want to look at, and I'll pull it up with you, because it's kind of an annoying, complex system. Let's see if I have it up here. Can you open multiple? I feel like everything's dirty. It's like everyone's seeing my room and it's not clean. Player grid recipe. Yeah, I don't think. Okay, so we want to look at lanterns. And I think we want to look at the block entity lantern. And let's look at the JSON for it as well. This is where, yeah, the crate may be another good example. Maybe we could both figure it out, because if I could do that, then it becomes easy to like change out the cloth and the wood types and stuff. It becomes really easy, because then I could just look at the item slot, right? And I can say, oh, it's this item, use this texture. Done. Blocks, lantern. I guess it would be metal. Lantern, no. This right here. Maybe not. Wait. I think maybe that is it. Thought it looked a little different. This kind of looks a little different to me. Was it the crate I was looking at? Maybe it was the crate that I was looking at. Let's go to block type. I looked at a couple. I've looked at so many things, and this was a little while ago. Wood, crate. It's the chest, chair, canvas, stage. Wood type. Here we go. Great. Something like, I think it's got to be through properties or like attributes. It was something that I saw through attributes, and then it takes like the textures, right? So basically, the way I would think you would do it is you would build out and like map all of your textures, and then you would just kind of do the texture swapping. So in the BE lantern, let me look. Yeah, see. So you're setting things like the material, the lining, and the glass. So it was the lantern. Let's look at the lantern again. I knew it! Should never second guess myself. Can I see both at the same time? Yeah, we could do that. Right, so I think it's something like, let's take a look at material, because you're basically, you're gonna read the JSON. Yeah, you're getting the tree, come on. Here we go. Did place. You're getting your material for the placing of it. You're getting your glass. Yeah, see, it's defaulting to like copper, for instance, right? So it would use this texture. And then it would use the plane, which would be... Is there a plane? Shit. I'd have to look at this again. This seemed like a really complex, annoying system. Quartz would be... I think it was something like Deco Dash. Let's keep looking here, right? So yeah, so this is it, right? Mesh, the lantern meshes. And then you try and get a value, right? So you'll get like copper, whatever the lining is, which I think it could be, yeah, like whatever the lining is, like gold or whatever. Orientation. So you're basically making something new with the mesh. Yeah, this whole get mesh thing. It seems like such a complex freaking system, though. I was pissed seeing this with the lantern because I wanted to model my mana lantern out of this. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the frick? You know what I mean? Like, why is this overly complex? Like, and I found out about it because of the creative menu. Oh, it's actually through the creative menu, right? Type block, code lantern up, and then it puts in the materials, right? Copper, plain, quartz. And then bronze, plain, quartz. Right, so it's just putting those together, then using, it's saving those there, right, and then using the mesh, right, tessellating it. You're pretty much swapping out textures, right? Like, it's something like if I really wanted to figure this out, like it would probably take me a couple of days, and I would probably end up rewriting the system so it's a little easier to understand. But see, like, even depending on what lining you get, you're just passing those variables into the block entity. And you're doing it, like, at time of placing it. Right, so if the first code part of glass, right, variant contains color, right, so if it's a colored glass, then it's kind of going to go through and, right, pulling out an item stack. It's just a pain in the ass. This is so freaking complex. It's cool that it works, but... I mean, look at this, too. Like, set light color, right? Depending on the colors that you're picking out. Blue, green, brown. Like, it's a very complex system. Yeah, there's a lot under the hood. Yeah. It's like, I can see placing it down. I could see the JSON. Right? But it's like, how is all of this kind of coming together in a way that I could understand, pick apart, right? And then use. Because, like, I mean, do I have to create like an attribute? You know what I mean? Like shape by type. So lantern up, lantern down, lantern wall. So, I mean, either way, your shape's going to be a static thing. Right? So you would just have your shape. And then for the textures, like, do you put all of the textures that you would ever want to use in? Like, would you have your 40 different woods here? Each one named a little different? And then, like, the deco, right? So something has to be deco somewhere, so... Right? Deco's not in here. But remember, we also have block lantern as well. Oh, look at that! Block lantern. Texture atlas position, right? So this is using the block entity and the block information to change your texture. And then, yeah, your player, yeah, we could skip all the animation stuff because that doesn't matter. Getting the light. See, again, you're getting things from the block entity with the light. So you gotta, like, set the block entity first and then pull those things through to the block. Which is kind of meh. This is what I was talking about. I looked at it and I'm like, What the hell? Yeah, on before render, here we go. So item stack attributes, get strings. So we're getting your material, your lining, and your glass with the default of quartz. You're doing all this mesh bull crap. Multi-texture mesh reference. That's gonna be fun. Right? You're getting a new, like, I guess, shape location. Like, it's... Again, if I really wanted to figure it out, like, same with you, right? Like, I bet if we just sat down and just looked at it and picked it apart and then tried to piece it back together, we could get something. We obviously, we have a working example between Block Lantern and Block Entity Lantern. But... I mean, it's still going, right? Do block place, because at the time of placing it, you're going to have to carry over, like, the block entity information of what the material, the lining, and the glass should be. So it's weird. It's almost like you put down the block, and then it creates the block entity. And then your block entity will have, like, based on what you placed, right? Those things get written, right? In this case, it's material, lining, and glass. For us, it'd be, like, wood, cloth, and maybe that's it, or maybe a third thing. And then your block then changes the rendering of it, right? And the textures that it's pulling and possibly the shape based on the block entity attributes that are saved from placing. Weird. Weird. On block pick, yeah, because you're going to have to get the information, right? You're going to have to get your block, and then you're going to have to pin those attributes on there to preserve it. It's just, it's very weird. Very weird. I don't like it. Random color. Oh, look, other lining, setting more attributes. Yeah, you're already a step ahead with the shaders. I haven't even considered looking at those yet, because I know it's gonna... Yeah, the shaders are a freaking nightmare. But what's a magic mod without shaders? I had to do shaders. And honestly, it would be really nice to, friggin' dark. It would be nice to be able to use a system like that to be able to change the cloth if you want it, right? Or just maybe change the wood type so I could have, like, maybe one block that would transform based on, you know, attributes. Instead of being like, well, there's 15 versions of this, right? Or 12 versions of this, and then 12 different colors. So I'm registering 144 blocks. Oh, I gotta fix that. See that? I gotta lift this just a little bit, which I can do. You know what? Why don't we just try? We just try this. I mean, because I would just have to change the texture atlas, right? Like, the way I would want to use it would be, like, in this case, you know, something like cloth, right? So let's pull, right? What if you want red? You should be, I think you should be able to take this and then have a spot where you could put this cloth in, and then it changes the color of your cloth. By magic, maybe. If you figure this out on stream, I'll be happy. I'll also be very angry. I'm not going to be able to do it this stream, Severed, because I got maybe less than 30 minutes to stream. Oh, wait, maybe less. Hold on. We'll see. Nope. Okay, so maybe I do have 30 minutes. Like 3:30. I don't actually. Hold on one second. 19. Alright. Looks like I'll have some adult stuff to do, but I don't have to stop streaming right now. So basically we could try and make a makeshift version of this, right? So Why don't I... Alright, I'm gonna move this over. We are going to... I think I want to look at my sanctum, because I think I disabled some of this stuff in my sanctum as well. Oh, 1 second. Hey, Oats, Streamer's on the phone because Streamer is getting Chinese food. We have a place that's kind of like 5 minutes from us. I always forget the name of it. I remember like the two places that are like 20 to 30 minutes away. Not the one that's really close. And I've been living at this place for like 4 years. So 3 or 4 years now. Oh god, I gotta look it up on GPS, right? Let's just pull up Google Maps. I have to go like find my house. So y'all aren't gonna be able to see this here. Oh, you know, I could just do it from my phone. I'll get it from my phone. Yeah, so I literally have like less than 10 minutes left, so I'm not gonna be able to do this Severed Skulls. But basically what I will do is create a variable. You know what? I can actually, depending on how tired I am, I could do one of two things. I could either maybe have a call with you and we could both figure it out together a little later if you're free. If not, I may be able to live stream again. I'm feeling good. We'll see. But we could figure that. I know we could figure this system out, or I could figure this system out, because it would be helpful, right? My beds would use that system. I could put it in the thalmic workbench, and you could change the color, right? So I could have like a default thing, and then maybe I could have it to where the block you put in would change the skin on it. Think you had, yeah. Oh no, I do have to go, Oats. I do have to go. You missed so much, Oats. We were literally moving mountains today. You missed it. You missed it. Oh, man. That's what I was going to try and figure out to add any sort of decorative block to my Stargate model. Well, it's different. Like, rendering a block is going to be different than changing the mesh itself. Rendering a block, you could just use like an item or block renderer to do that. I do that, right? Let's pull up one of my beds, right? So you can pop a bed down. Let's get a you know, like a little comfort doll here. Whoops. I hate that I do that. Right? So that's just an item renderer. So you could do, what we're talking about is different, right? You're not adding a block, you are changing the texture mapping in real time based on something. Yeah, you gotta like regenerate your mesh. Blue balled again. Couldn't you change the view via the mesh and then retessellate? Well, kind of. You do it through like your gen mesh. You would do it through tessellation. I think you're gonna have to do it through the block and not the block entity. We would have to use the block entity to store the variables and to parse out like things from either JSON or item attributes, and then pipe those into the block is the way I would do it. Yeah, and it's typically cached. Yeah. But all right, so I need to call the Chinese place before Freya gets here, and I gotta figure out what I want. You know what? Steamed dumpling. No. Chicken fried rice. Chicken and broccoli. That's what I want. Let's see who is streaming. Let's give someone a raid or Rooney. Who's actually playing the game? Who do we got? 40 viewers, what? Oh, we got Luna Wood on here. I think I'm following them. I know I'm following them. They're on my list here. You know what? Let's throw the follow, or yeah, let's do this. But not Luna. Oh my god, I am so tired. Juno Wood. Oy. Don't tell anyone. I'll deny it. Let's do the raid. Oh, the raid settings don't allow you to raid? Uncool, man. Uncool. Alright, whatever. You're not getting a raid. Denied. 24-hour stream, a lot of Red Bull. Maybe. Heck it, we play a game. No wonder why I got so many people here, man. Our pickings are slim. They are slim. Alright. I'm gonna randomly pick this person. Quit urchin. Flash raid. There we go. Raid has been created. Boom. So like I said, you know what? I may end up just doing the live stream a little later, and I may just build that system out. It sounds fun. We'll figure it out though. The way I'm gonna build out the system is I will have an item slot where you could put. I will just start off with cloth. You'll be able to put cloth in the item slot, and it will regen the mesh and then use that other texture. It'll use that texture. So we will essentially swap cloth colors and build a basic system that we could then expand upon. So we'll figure it out. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I got some good feedback today. We got the new crafting system working. Heck yeah! So you know, I can use this to separate non-magic users from magic users and what they can create. This is going to be a foundational thing that will take out a lot of the grind, I think, of progressing your levels. But all right, everyone, thank you for watching. I got Chinese food to eat in order, not in that order, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.